With great reverence, may I now invite Professor Said for delivering the
Dr. Hall, Dean, Professor Maheshwari, Professor Bradford, distinguished delegates, faculty, students. It's indeed a great honor for me to be here today and to be able to listen some learned views during this international workshop on urbanization of peri-urban regions, challenges and opportunities, the security of water, food, and livability of future cities. Coming to Udaipur and having the opportunity of going around the campus and meeting some of the senior colleagues of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, I just came to know about the remarkable transformation which the present Vice Chancellor has undertaken here. And this is, I think, what was expected of him. I had the opportunity of being with him for some time, few months, and he was the force behind me at that time to make some changes in the university where I was at Amritsar. Now, when I received this invitation from Dr. Rathore, and I read the title, I was totally confused. Because I have never heard of this word peri-urbanization and peri-urbanism. I have heard of the suburbs and all the other things, but this is much away from my field. My field is entirely different. I work in human genetics. And so when this letter came in, I was wondering, before replying to him, I just looked into the two things worried me. One, Professor Jahan knew me so well, and why he's calling me to an area where I'm not aware even of the definition. So before complaining to him, I looked into the definition of the peri-urban, which made me more confused. So FAO defines, in this reading, the definition of peri-urban area are largely situational and case-specific. So they will guide me anywhere. I looked further into the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development site and found another definition. I read that one. The term peri-urban area cannot be easily defined or be limited through unambiguous criteria. It's a name given to the gray area, which is neither entirely urban nor purely rural. In the traditional sense, it is at most a partly urbanized rural area. Whatever definition may be given to it, it cannot eliminate some degree of arbitrariness. Unquote. So more I looked into, more I became confused. But then I realized as to why Professor Chahal had called me. Because when I looked at some more definitions, they were covering, say, 150 kilometers from the periphery, from the center of a city, it becomes a peri-urban also. If you look at the definition of China, it's 300 kilometers. And if I apply that 300 kilometer or 150 kilometer to my state, its whole state falls into it, you know. So, I don't know why I've been caught. Then I realized that he was aware of my present situation. When I was at Amritsar, it is of course a developed city. Then I was given the assignment about 3 years back, the government of India, to establish a new university, which is a small place called Bathinda, the southern side of Punjab. It is, by name, it is a city. If you ask anyone in Punjab, they will say it is not a city because it's so small. And the land which was given to me, 500 acres for the university, is totally in a rural area, 25 kilometers away from that place. Now, coming up of that university into that place is what has brought in the transition thing over there. Along with the university, there are thermal plants coming up, there's a refinery coming up. So that transition from rural to the urban is taking place at a very fast pace. And along with that are all those struggles and the problems which you consider in this very urbanization things. The location is, as I told you, a totally rural area. So what should one has to look in for the manpower, and for where the manpower is going to come in, because then you have to look into manpower is going to look into how to reach there, connectivity. And when they come there, then you have to look for the waters, resource management. The groundwater there is not potable, cannot be used for irrigation. So how you will manage that one? And all those things which are listed in the peri-urbanization is what I'm actually observing, that what we are feeling there and what we are encountering every day. As it's named, the difficulties which come in the peri-urbanization things, the food. Although it's right in the village, but there is a scarcity of food. In the sense that you just can't have wheat and rice there to survive. You need the vegetables which have to come from the other places. You need the fruits which have to be transported from other places. And then there is a complex coming up with the concentration of the people. You need the housing there, and how you are going to solve those problems. And all other things, the water, as I mentioned, you have to arrange for the water. Sewerage system. When the people from the villages are moving into the cities, the biggest problem coming is of the sewerage. We do not consider the two things together. You wait, okay, there's a sewerage for so many people. You forget about the rainwater. It's going to rain, are going to come in, all the water is going to flow into the sewerage only. And they get choked. Transportation problems. We are looking into what's coming up, for example, in the bigger cities. We look into Delhi, maybe another Gurgaon. The transportation which is planned, they made 6-lane highway, was 2-lane, 4-lane, 6-lane. But they didn't consider the amount of traffic is going to be, it's all choked up. Look into the Bangalore, new airport being made, it has been made, very good. But the moment you enter and you enter the city, it is fully choked. So whenever these urbanization things are to be considered by an expert like you, all these things, food, water, sewerage, transportation, have to be taken care of. Initially, then comes the problem of the education of the people, the students, education of the children of the people, where they are going to have, then the health. Are there resources enough there to meet the increased demand? Then the security, it comes in because of the gap between the real and the poor and the rich people which are there. And then above all, the environmental pollution which is coming day by day much more important for the cities. Now please, can this movement to the cities, or what we call the urbanization or the peri-urban, can it be controlled or avoided? I think that I feel that is an important thing which needs to be discussed by the district every year. But some things I think which are beyond the control, for example, the population. Already the world has touched over 7 billion last month, and we have 200,000 additions per day coming in. And we look into this distribution in India, 30% of the total population is already into the urban areas or the cities. And this is increasing by 2.4% annually. So when we are going to meet this challenge, of the urbanization, especially from the environmental point of view. We hear a lot about the Griha rating. When I started making the building for the university, you have a writer, okay, you must follow the Griha 3, then after 6 months, no, Griha 3 will follow Griha 4 now. Now, how many buildings in India or worldwide following those green building concepts? For example, if you look into the LEED Platinum rating, outside US there is just one building which has that status, platinum status, and that is in Hyderabad, where they have adopted all those green living aspects with respect to water conservation or roof gardens and all that. This need, what I feel, to analyze the factors which are promoting this urbanization. So this is going to take place, it's taking place, but we cannot be allowed to go endless. If you have total urbanization, the normal factors which you find in literature and you are aware of, okay, there are more opportunities, job opportunities in the cities, there are more facilities, this thing is more, this thing is more. But what are the real factors? What are the real problems, actual problems? We are not increasing, making the ghettos in the cities. And we cannot have a complete urbanization thing all over. So we need to find some factors how to counter it. And also, we have to be sure whether we can afford it. The complete urbanization. If you look especially from the point of view of India, more than 70% population is living in the villages. And that population is responsible for all the economy we have. The sustainability of Indian economy is based on the agriculture. Can we afford to destroy our agricultural lands and build over there the thermal plants, build over there the concrete structures completely? That's the need to look into. Do we really need that kind of urbanization where we have all the pollution, all those carbon credit going waste, and all the energy being pumped, and most of it which is avoidable? If we put a little more thought into it, scientifically think over it, instead of promoting everything, bringing those merging, okay, 100-kilometer area, to be gradually merged with the cities. Can't we have good transportation simply where people stay in the villages, live there, and enjoy all the benefits of the rural area, the rural life, the clean air, everything. That's not what you want to talk about that. But all said and done, the real problem of the development, where we are not seeing that kind of development which could be there, or this urbanization, is a problem which no political party is going to touch it. And it's the last more than 20 years, no one is daring to touch that problem, to control that problem. And unless we control that one, any amount of urbanization or development is bound to be doomed, and that problem is of the population. Unless we control it, whatever developments we make, whatever urbanization we make, we continue to have all those ghettos, all those problems of the environment, and all those cases which are there in the world. Thank you very much. I thank again the organizers, especially Professor Jayad, for giving me this opportunity to be with you and maybe listen to some of the other news. Thank you very much.